So the section that I'm on is kind of a canal up, and then the river comes off, so the river's the other side. I'll fish that coming back down. So because of that, I know this area is fairly shallow, but it's also still water, so I'm going to use one of the Fox jointed replicants. I'm going to use it like a jerk bait. Typically I would go in with a jerk bait, but just fancy trying these out really. A little bit of a stinger here, if I can get that looped up. So a couple of obvious features is this wall line, if I can get this. There's quite a light jig head on this, so you shouldn't have to worry about it sinking too quickly, but you just got to keep it flicking and moving. You can do that off the rod tip, or just as I'm doing with the reel. A few little pauses just to get it sinking. And that clarity is very good. I can see that lure in the water, kind of trying to judge where the bottom is. I think it's about there. So it's only about three foot, so it's fairly shallow around here. So you can either use the rod tip and kind of jerk it like you usually would a jerk bait. A few little pauses in there, or you can speed it up a little. I think the action of these jointed shads is really good. Looks like an injured fish. Cast. Try and keep it up and fizzing along the top of those shallows. Just again that kind of twitchy retrieve. It's a pulse and a pause basically. Just giving that lure time to move around. No interest whatsoever on these kind of swim bait lures, so I switched over to a reel eel. It's huge. Hooks are all along the top, means that I can just scoot it along the bottom. It's not kind of the colour that I'd have gone after, but it's the only one that I've got. It's that kind of motor oil. Might shine around a little bit, who knows. But yeah, just going to get it out there, let it sink right down, and then just slowly buzz it across the bottom, near enough. Get it along that crease line really. Just feeling it round about there. Rod tip goes down, really slow retrieve. You can speed it up every now and then, just to keep it from burying itself in anything. This is a bit noisier, but just down from this weir pool. Right in front of me is a complete slack, real back eddy, a kind of crease just out in front of me as well. So just going to work this reel eel down there. I can skim it along the bottom fairly easily. Just going to have a few throws, won't stick around for too long. We'll start losing the light. Just got to work out what speed of retrieve I need to have really. Once you've worked that out, should be alright. Go just a bit more up towards my left. Bring it back in around in front of me. Just keep that pressure on. Try not to fall down the bank. tangled around my line now, mate. Hey, mate. Ah. What? As I went to move my hand. Oh, that is typical. The line untangled, bit of slack, shake of the head, hook came out. So positives to take is that we've had a bite on this lure. Come down to the swim just kind of downstream. Got some real nice slack areas on my near side, faster flow over there, slack here. Let's just give this a flick and just work it back towards myself. It's fairly deep. I've fished this section before, but for kind of chub and that really. A tree, branch of some kind. Let's just try that again. Really let that sink. There you go, it's about there. Hooks are over the top. Oh my god! It's the second time! There's something wrong with these hooks. Right, losing 2 fish on the same lure, must be something with the hooks. I think that first one was kind of tangled and wriggled itself like off of the hook, and then that second one just never really hooked up properly. So switched to a 2-hook stinger. These red hooks, I think they're VMC, really sharp, really trust these. Let's get this out and hopefully we're not going to lose another fish. They like this lure, I can tell that much. You know, wasn't having anything until I switched to this. So 20-gram jig head on the front, just keep that moving in this kind of slack area. Stand back a little bit. It's quite slippy along these banks, so I don't really want to be hooking up and falling in. Let's just try and let that sink down, rod tip down, real steady, slow retrieve. I think these pike are fairly sort of deep. Just before I get hooked up on too many snags. Let's keep this in tight to the bank. Let's sink down, rod tip down, real slow retrieve. It's just flicking along the bottom, I can feel that. Oh, take them right at my feet. Need to let this clutch off. That's better. Don't get in that flow too much, my friend. See, I like the lure. I just needed some hooks that will help me convert. Oh, that is such a good result. Same lure, different hooks, fish. Oh, come in. There we go. Bit angry, still tensing up a bit. I let him rest just in the water while I sorted the camera gear and everything out. But maybe kind of £6. Similar size to a fish that I caught off the Loddon recently, and proof that just having faith in your hooks worked. The lure was right, I had 2 bites, didn't convert, change of hooks, here we are. Back out to the other side, keep letting that go, there we go. Bit more pace to it this time. It's kind of a back flow, so I'm just going to keep it moving. I'm going to try and work the lure along that. Yeah, and keep the rod tip just into the water, and then slowly bring this lure back towards myself. Could be something just sat real close in. Just twitching on a few little bits on the bottom. Could just speed it up just a little. It's a bit of decent slack water, so let's try as far out as I can go. bit of pace on the lure. I think this area is a little bit shallower than the other. Bringing it back towards me. Really starting to lose this light now. Everything's kind of gone orange. Get him turned in the flow. God, he doesn't want me to catch him, but I've done it. Right, I can see that the hook is just caught in the top of the net, so I'm just going to unhook him. Oh, another angry one. Bonus points to people watching if you've already spotted the next Calamity of this video. This fish is slightly smaller than the one that I just had, but that does make it 2 hookups, 2 losses, all on the same lure. So the lure's obviously right, I just didn't have the hooks ready. Another Calamity is I've now lost the lure. Looks like it ripped off of the screw head. No idea. At least I caught the fish. Maybe 4, maybe 5. But very angry jack again. Really losing the light now. Let's get him back. Do you ever finish a session and just think, like, what was that? That's the most productive session I've had in ages. I've had 4 bites, but I've only landed 2. All because of my own stupidity, thinking that the hooks were okay. What a joke. Do you know, besides the amount of calamities that actually happened today, that last fish I shouldn't have caught. The stinger was over the eye of the jig head. I just was a bit lazy and just put it over the eye of the jig head, clipped the lure on. So technically it's only connected to the eye. Well, that jig head's come off somehow. The lure's come off, the jig head's come off. But the stinger is then on the lure clip. I haven't done that. Anyway, this video probably won't come out until after Christmas, maybe just into the new year. So happy new year, everybody. Hope your Christmases were great and you can have a laugh at me today. Have a good one.